This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Alright, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm going to be ranting about Souls-like video games. I think if you guys follow me on Twitch, you most likely know what game caused this rant. But, and yeah, people will probably say like that it's the worst Souls-like game of the whole genre. You know, there's other Souls-like video games, but that's the thing. I played quite a few different Souls-like video games throughout the years. I played Dark Souls. I can't remember whether it was 1 or 2. I played Armored Core. I played, what else? Elden Ring. What are some other games? There is this one game that did come out not too long ago called Dual Corp. I've always had the same experience with Souls-like video games, and I don't get it. You know, at the end of the day, it's like, I know people are going to say it's a skill issue. It's a skill issue for the developers, because the one thing that I've always seen with Souls-like video games, and it's crazy how there are some out there where they make the game a little bit more welcoming to the casual player, but the one thing that I always noticed was the lack of difficulty settings in these games. You ain't even, the thing is this, you don't even have to add the difficulty settings. You very well could have added, because one game that I'm going to reference where it's, it can be Souls-like if they wanted it to, but it's like, it's impossible to play it that way. It's impossible to go up against an enemy that's a higher level than you in those games. But Destiny and The Division, so they have a difficulty settings where it's set up where you're going up against other enemies that's the same level as you. So if you're a level 1, they're a level 1. If you're a level 5, they're a level 5. If you're a level 30, they're a level 30. Souls-like, for some reason, they decide, you know what, we're going to go down the route where we don't, and this is what Souls-like video games are. The developers don't know how to develop a difficulty settings for the video games. So they just ignore it, move on with putting everything else in the game, and then that's when they decide to come up with the name. Instead of calling them fighting games, we gonna call them Souls-like, because Souls-like, it's pretty much just fighting games on the hardest difficulty. When you have Spider-Man, what else? God of War. I'm trying to think of some other games that plays out like, but it's you going up against some wild creature or something. I guess like Spider-Man, that might not be a good example, but God of War looks, if you were to have both games, God of War and Elden Ring side by side, it's the same game, all right? The only difference is that God of War has a difficulty settings and Elden Ring doesn't. Why is that? Why is it that, because that's the thing that confuses me, why is it that modders have to add difficulty settings into the games, but the developers don't? Like, why don't you guys not want to add difficulty settings into the game? Because if it's something that people are asking for, my thing is this, and I know that the developers have to see that people be asking for this stuff, but if people are asking for it, fam, you guys done came out from software, they done came out with how many video games? Hold on for a second. I mean, they're remastering games, they're coming out with new games. Last game that they came out with last year was Elden Ring Night Reign, so it's pretty much like a spin-off of Elden Ring. That game ain't got no difficulty settings. The game before that, Armored Core 6, that game ain't got no difficulty settings. Elden Ring, the first one, Sekiro, Shadow Die Twice, that game ain't got no difficulty settings. Dark Souls 3 too. They got 2 different Dark Souls 2 games, but overall though, games ain't got no difficulty settings. Why is that? And that's the thing where I'm like, From Software, I really think that they ruined the mind of developers out there, because I guarantee and I promise you, if From Software never existed, the games that we see today, like Code Vein, Dual Corp, I'm trying to think of some other Souls-like video games out there besides games from Software. Hold on for a second. Black Myth Wukong, What are some other ones? Neo or Nio, whatever that game is, because I think they just recently came out with the third one. But I wonder if this Claire Obscure Expedition 33 game, I wonder if they might. I've never played that game, but if they don't have a difficulty settings, then it's like, yeah, because From Software ruined the mind of developers out there. These guys could have if From Software never would have existed, I guarantee and I promise you, a lot of these developers would have added difficulty settings into the game. But everybody's trying to be like, they're trying to create the next Dark Souls. They're trying to create the next Elden Ring. That's one thing I feel like that needs to be said. Can developers just, if you're going to create a game for yourself, all right? Create a game for, I guess, for everybody. You know, if you ain't going to create a game for yourself, because I feel like people will look at it and be all like, well, why would I create a game for myself? Okay, then if you're going to create a game, then create a game for everybody that can play it. The casual players, the difficult players, everybody. So yes, create an easy, medium, and hard, and very hard, and extremely hard, and all this other stuff. Because one game that I can think of where it ain't really Souls-like, but they have a gang of difficulty settings in there, is Helldivers. I think they got like casual, I think easy, medium, hard, very hard, and I think they got nightmare, extreme, all these other different, they got multiple difficulties in the game. So they specialize in difficulty settings. That's why I'm not trying to hear nobody when they say, oh, adding the difficulty settings into the video game is hard. How? When difficulty settings, hold on for a second. Let me just see something real quick. What was the first video game that had a difficulty settings?
They always tell you there's a catch, a compromise, an asterisk. Terms apply. See store for details. May be less than advertised. May vary by mood. Probably. Sprite Zero Sugar? It's different. It's the lemon lime flavored refreshment you want with zero sugar. So, no fast voice? No caveats. Just refreshment. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your thirst.
Whether your business has 6 floors or 6 employees, Walmart Business has everything you need to save time, money, and hassle. You can restock your break room with bulk ordering or bulk up your ordering team with shared payments. And you can get it all delivered straight to your business's door, whether that's on Wall Street or Main Street. Walmart Business. It's the Walmart you love, now for your business. Learn more at business.walmart.com.
Let's just see. While various early games had speed changes, 1980s adventure for the Atari 2600 is why it says the first home console game feature selectable difficulties. So when did this game? So it just says 1980 adventure of Atari. Okay, no, so it came out in 1980. Okay, so it's like that's the earliest video game to have a difficulty settings. So you mean to tell me 46 years later, you've talking on Code Vein 2. Let's just use that game for the sake of the example. You mean to tell me 46 years later, you guys not even trying to do your research, because there's so many different tutorials. Like, if you're expecting me to look through tutorials on how to play your guys' game, you should be looking through tutorials on how to add the difficulty settings. So while I'm doing that, that's what your guys' next update needs to be. But to me, that just doesn't even just to talk on that just doesn't even make any sense, where you want people to play the game, but they gotta watch YouTube video after YouTube video, and then they don't find nothing on YouTube. Now they gotta go over to TikTok and watch another TikTok, and then watch another TikTok. They don't find nothing on there. Now they gotta go to Reddit, go through all these different posts on Reddit. Now they gotta go to Twitter. Now they gotta go to Instagram. Now they gotta go to Facebook. They're going any and everywhere where they are trying to figure out how to beat because hold on for a second. So the one boss that I was dealing with on Code Vein 2, how to beat Fran's boss Code Vein 2. Let's just see all the different stuff that pops up. So you got one YouTuber named Grillas. They posted a video talking about how to defeat Fran's. Jay Dunna, Purge Evil, Kachu, whatever their name is, a Reddit post, 2 Steam community posts, an AI generated answer on Google, multiple Reddit, 3 more Reddit posts, PC Gamer, hold on for a second, oh, that's the same YouTuber, Glucose Streams, They posted a video, another Reddit post, Game Rant, Game 8 the Gamer, a YouTube channel that goes by Blue Gaming, IGN. Wait, they talking about it? There's like dejected assailant. I don't know what. It's okay. So they are talking on it. No, they are talking on IGN, and then there's also searches of how to beat Franz Boss Code Vein 2 Reddit, how to beat Franz Boss Code Vein 2 PS5, Code Vein 2 Franz Blood Code, Code Vein 2 Dejected Assailant recommended level, Code Vein 2 Franz, Code Vein 2 Dejected Assailant Cheese, Code Vein 2 Parry, Dejected Assailant 2 Code Vein 2. All those different search results pop up just for looking for that one boss. And I wonder how many bosses are in Code Vein 2, because I've dealt with quite a few myself, but it just seems like almost it's those enemies where if they take more than like 2-3 hits, well, all the enemies take more than 2-3 hits, but it's those ones where it's like, okay, you hit them and maybe like a corner of their health disappears. That's how, okay, then that's the boss. But it's those enemies where it's like you can hit them and take away like maybe 20-25% of their health. And it's like, okay, those bosses or not bosses, but those enemies are fine. If they all play it like that, then okay, cool. But it just, to me, doesn't make no sense. You make those enemies how they are, but you don't make the bosses the same way. Even if you expand their health, I don't even mind if you guys do that. Just have it where the enemies are a lot easier to take out. But hold on for a second. How many bosses are in Code Vein 2? Let's see. Code Vein 2 features approximately 35 bosses ranging from essential story encounters to optional, secret, and field bosses spanning multiple timelines. So they have 35 bosses. I'm supposed to go on my computer 35 different times, or on my phone or a tablet, whatever. I'm supposed to look it up 35 different times on how to beat these bosses in the game. How is that fun? Somebody please explain to me, how is that fun? Where it's like, alright, so if people want to try to explain that, hear me out on this. What sense does it make to go to the movies and ask somebody, what's this movie about? Rather than just seeing the movie for yourself. And the thing is this, if they come out with some trailer making it look like it's the next best video game since Grand Theft Auto 5, fam, I'm going to assume that this game is good. I'm going to assume that this is a game that I can play. I'm not going to be paying attention to multiple, because yeah, you don't be seeing that stuff until after you unbought the game. When you're looking at all the different YouTubers that's uploading content left and right, talking about how to beat this boss, how to beat that boss. Fam, content like that shouldn't even exist. And I'm not trying to put down those YouTubers. Thank God these YouTubers and people exist that's explaining on how to do it, because the developers ain't going to do it. And that's the thing, because I know people are going to try to criticize my gaming skills and knowledge and all that stuff. Fam, I've been playing video games for over 20 years. And that's one thing. I was in an era of gaming where we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have TikTok. We didn't have Reddit. We didn't have none of those websites. We didn't have nothing. I didn't even have internet access until 2010. So when it came down to a video game that I had to play and figure out and all that stuff, I had to figure it out on my own. There wasn't let me go, because then at times it's like, fam, there is games that if I had to go to school, and ask around about a video game, fam, there's at times, and it's still like that till this day, where there's video games that my friends don't even have. So I can't go to friends, I can't go to family. Yeah, it's like my parents, they got me into gaming, but it's like video games wasn't even around when they got into gaming. My dad was playing Legend of Zelda, and my mom was playing Mario games and Mortal Kombat. So it's like and that's the thing with those games. I don't even think Legend of Zelda, well, they have it where the difficulty settings is fixed in there, and with Mario in their games, yeah, it's like, well, I guess with Mario Kart, because my mom, she mainly had played that and stuff. But overall though, it's like, yeah, the difficulty is it's fixed. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, if you know how to race, then Mario Kart should be a breeze, all right? But at the same time too, I guess like if we're talking on Mario 64, that's the one Mario game that my mom did play a lot. It's okay, so you just gotta go through the castle and save Peach. They know that you've never been a plumber and you've never had to go through space to go to some castle where a big old giant dinosaur for some odd reason has this weird fascination with a princess. Nintendo knows you ain't never dealt with no stuff like that. So what sense does it make especially in that time frame, what sense would it make to come out with a video game where you gotta ask people, how do I play this video game? When video games back then, it was like, if you know how, my thing is this. You have a controller. There's limited things that you can do on the controller. It ain't like they have controller mapping and all this other stuff to have it where the game, you had limited things that you can do on those controllers. So you fight with whatever it is that you've seen, but they also didn't have it set up where enemies, I think, because I remember I did play Mario 64 not too long ago, and one of the first bosses that they had me go up against, I can't even think of the boss's name, but yeah, it was playable. I was able to get through it, no problem. And it wasn't, I have to keep doing this over and over and over again and stuff. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like developers do want you to play their games for a long period of time. But if you're going to have it set up where me playing this game for a long period of time, it's just me going up against the same enemy over and over and over again. Because let's just see how many people then dumped hours. You know what? No, let's see how many people then dumped hours into Elden Ring. Because I guarantee and I promise you, there is not one person that can say that they played this game for a short period of time. Nobody can say that about Elden Ring. But anyways, first review. So I'm going based off of that. First review, 28 hours. Second review, 102 hours. 158 hours for the next one, 87 hours, 236 hours, 198 hours, 164. I seen one where it was like at 1,000. Hold on for a second. Okay, there's the one where it has 934 hours, where 1,076 hours. And that person, they go on to, that's what they had left at, under, their review. It's too difficult. And I played Elden Ring. That was one video game, because I know people will probably say that Code Vein 2, that's the worst Souls-like video game. Go play Elden Ring. I played Elden Ring. At least I can say this much about Code Vein 2. It was more playable than Elden Ring. Because Elden Ring, the very first boss that they have you go up against is this guy on this golden horse. And I think he has like gold armor or something like that. Takes you out in 2 hits. And so I was talking on that. I was talking on my frustrations with that boss, or like it was maybe a year or two ago. I can't remember when exactly I played that game. But people were like, "You can skip past that boss." Fam, my thing is this. That's like watching a movie and people are like, "Oh, skip past this scene because that scene don't matter." It's obviously in the movie for a reason. What reason would I have to be skipping? If that's the case, then let me just skip every boss. Let me just skip every boss, get all the achievements, not play the game, and just have it where I'm just, that's just the whole game. Just one big giant, YouTube video where it's like the skippable ads and stuff. Fam, that's not what this is. This is a video game. You supposed to be playing it. Like, and that's two genres. Two genres that I'm highly interested in is racing genres and open world, or racing games and open world games. Fam, I'm telling you right now, if an open world, and no, so actually, you know what? Let me just use one game where it's that. It's literally those two genres combined. Forza Horizon. Now, they plan on coming out with a Forza Horizon 6. I think it's going to be in May. Now, with Forza Horizon, because I played all of them. I played 1 through 5. And I would have to say that the only issue that I had with those games was that the UI, I think that means menu, was a little bit confusing in Forza Horizon 3. I didn't know what championship that I was involved in. But eventually, I figured it out. And it was just one of those things where it was just kind of a miscommunication with what I needed to do or where I needed to go to. But overall, I figured it out. And now Forza Horizon 3, that's a playable game. All of the Forza Horizons, they're all playable games. But that's the thing, though, how they have that game set up. Now, they probably know that there are going to be people that's going to be getting an Xbox Series X, or even a gaming PC for the first time in their life. Because I guess, because I'm trying to think, the very first open world game that I played, open world racing game that I played was probably Midnight Club. But I mean, there were like some other ones that I played too. But no, overall though, let's just use that example of Forza Horizon, and there's a gamer that's playing it for the first time, right? So you go out and you get you an Xbox Series X. There's Forza Horizon 5. My question to those individuals, do you want a difficult, your car is going to constantly be breaking down? I guess if you're into cars, then it's like, okay, that's a little bit more easier to learn than going up against some mythical creature off up in an abandoned church or in the woods or wherever else they have areas at in Code Vein or Elden Ring or whatever and stuff. But and that the thing, because how many times do you go out in the middle of the wild and be fighting big old giant random creatures or a big old giant random man on a golden horse and he got golden armor. How many times have you done that in your life? Even video games where they be on some like unrealistic stuff, because a lot of different video games are unrealistic. But that's the thing though, they don't be having it where you're facing challenges left and right. Souls-like developers, what's up with you guys? Because I'm just saying, when playing Mario Kart, right? What's the one thing that will prevent you from, if we're going to get realistic, what would be the one thing to prevent you from racing on Rainbow Road? Like, and I'll sit and wait. Like, I want, please, people, pause this podcast episode and come up with an answer on what would stop me from racing on some real life stuff. What would stop me from racing on Rainbow Road? I'll sit and wait. Please comment. I would love an answer. But if you can't think of an answer, if you're all like, well, I don't know, what would stop me from racing on Rainbow Road? There's no air in space. So the thing is this. If you were really racing on Rainbow Road, how many times have people raced on a rainbow? Or if we're talking God of War, how many people have been a god and they're fighting all these different types of, I think they had it where you fight a dragon in that game at some point in time in the that first God of War game that they came out with on the PS4. I ain't never fought no dragon and I've never been no god. So, like, I guess I played the previous God of War games, but that's the thing, though. They had it set up where this was like a brand new story. This is a brand new beginning, all right? So they didn't have it set up on no stuff where it was like, oh, you need to know how to be a god and all this other stuff. No, I don't. I'm playing, I just want to play a video game. Because if that's the case, if I'm like, then yeah, let me go and figure out how to become a god and fight dragons and stuff with my son. But I'm like, I'm not trying to do that. I spent $400 on a PlayStation, or $499 on a PlayStation 5, and I paid $60 for this video game. Fam, I'm just trying to play a video game. That's it. That's all that I'm trying to do. If that's too much to ask for, then point me in the direction of a video game where I can actually enjoy myself. But Souls-like video games, you can't enjoy yourself with those games. They want to hide behind the idea of it being a new genre where it's, I guess not a new genre, but it's like they want to hide behind the idea of it being a Souls-like genre where it's not. It's just a fighting game, and the developers, for some reason, were too lazy to add the difficulty settings. But no, that's what I was actually talking about with Forza, and after this, I am going to end this episode because I am getting a little bit hungry. But anyways, with Forza, you go out and you get you a gaming PC or an Xbox, whichever. When you play that game for the first time, you can go through the settings and change the difficulty to where it's like the cars never gonna win a race. But they also have it set up too where if you want to have a little bit of a challenge, guess what? You can have that challenge. You can have it where it's like the cars is gonna be passing you up left and right. But what fun would that be if you're gonna be constantly losing races? And then somebody's in, like you go and talk on your frustration. Yeah, let's say they came out with a Souls-like racing game. That game would fail. I guarantee and I promise you nobody will be playing it and stuff. But it's stuff like that. That's when the same people that'll be in my comment sections defending Souls-like video games, they'll be the same ones in the comment or in the review section on Steam for the Souls-like racing game saying the car is too slow. You can't turn fast enough. You can't. And I'm like, that's what it usually takes in order for people to understand where you're coming from, where there's that one Souls-like video game that comes out and it just ruins it for the whole genre. And I'm telling you, I cannot wait for that video game to come out and it just ruins the whole Souls-like genre. And then people are going to most likely remember, if they already did hear this episode, they most likely going to get to thinking about it. And you know what? You ain't even got to come back. All right. The thing is this, if you find yourself thinking about what I said and everything that I talked on, I told you so. There's no reason for Souls-like video games to be as difficult as they are. And I know people are going to try to jump up, say, oh, it's a skill issue. Fam, there's so many different. So if every video game that you play, you supposed to know how to play the game? Or am I supposed to go through YouTube tutorial and TikTok tutorial and Reddit tutorial on how to go through whatever it is? Because if that's the case, video games would have never been successful. If they're going to have it where every video, where it's like you face more challenges in the video game, because let's just say it's a bike racing game, right? A realistic bike racing game. Do you think a person is trying to face challenge after challenge after challenge? Because if that's the case, fam, I'll just go out and get me a bike. I feel like that would be a lot more easier to figuring that out. At least my thing is this. At least there is a reason to practice. There is a reason to, overall, if I got me a bike in real life, then I have a reason to practice, because I'm like, I ain't trying to die. But if I'm playing a video game, fam, make it to where the game is playable. That's it. That's all that you have to do. But if you can't do that, fam, quit. Just quit being a video game developer. But my thing is this. I don't go out of my way to pay over $1,000 for a gaming PC or over $500 for an Xbox or a PlayStation. Pay $60. No. Hold on for a second. Because what's the highest membership for PlayStation Plus membership? And then the Xbox Game Pass yearly subscription. I wonder what the price is. So 12. Hold on for a second. So PC, they don't have it where it's what's like ultimate the price. Can you get 12? Nope, that ain't what I'm looking for. Dang, I'm just trying to look for the price. Oh, is this it? Xbox Game Pass. Okay, you know what? No, let's just go to the whatchamacallit, to the websites and just do the math and things off of my phone. Where okay, here we go. So PlayStation Plus, so 12. Okay, no, wait a minute. 12. So they got it where 12 months subscription for PlayStation 5 will be $159.99. And then Xbox Game Pass, let's see where their subscription thing is at. Ultimate, hold on for a second. They don't have like no. Okay, so $29.99 a month. Let's see how much that is. Or times it by 12.
The world moves fast. Your workday, even faster. Pitching products, drafting reports, analyzing data. Microsoft 365 Copilot is your AI assistant for work. Built into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and other Microsoft 365 apps you use. Helping you quickly write, analyze, create, and summarize. So you can cut through clutter and clear a path to your best work. Learn more at Microsoft.com/M365 Copilot.
How old were you when you realized you were the son of a president?
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette.
I didn't think I could love someone like this until you.
From executive producer Ryan Murphy.
It's not a question of if I want to spend the rest of my life with you. It's if I'm cut out to be Mrs. JFK Jr.
FX's Love Story. John F. Kennedy Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. Watch now on FX, Hulu, and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers.
So $29.99 a month times 12. That's $359.88. So and then that's if you buy the game on Xbox or PlayStation. So dang, I didn't realize how much that was on Xbox, where they do be giving away some games and stuff. So, but anyways, I don't pay that much to have it where it's like, especially if it's like an online game or something like an online Souls-like game, I'm not paying that much to play this game online just to have it where it's like the game is unplayable. And then if I go out and get me a PC that's over $1,000 and then having to add all these different parts just to make sure I'm capable of even playing the game, just to find out that I can't play it because the developers are too lazy to add the difficulty settings, fam. Who's gonna be, I guarantee and I promise you, there's gonna definitely be that. I'm gonna just call it right now with Souls-like, the fate of Souls-like video games. There is going to be a video game that's gonna come out, whether it's Grand Theft Auto 6, whether it's any other game that comes out in the future, but there is going to be a video game that comes out. People ain't gonna be playing Elden Ring no more. People ain't gonna be playing Dark Souls. People ain't gonna be playing Code Vein 1 or 2. There's gonna be a lot of different Souls-like video games that is going to fall under, and we gonna start seeing these games being available for $1, $2, maybe even $3. But at the end of the day, people are gonna stop playing them because the thing is this: why would I play a video game where you're constantly having to go back and forth from the internet trying to figure out how to play the game versus a video game where, let's just say they came out with a Souls-like video game with the difficulty settings. Now they have it set up where it's all like, you don't even have to go through YouTube and all this other stuff to try to figure out how to play the game. I guess if you are playing the game on hard, then okay. But if you want to play this game on easy, grind through it, get the achievements, get all the weapons and all the armor and all this other stuff, but you ain't trying to have no difficult time playing it, we got that for you. What's up with that? Why can we not have that conversation? Why we gotta have the conversation of we have to accept a video game being difficult and there ain't no, or and if we do add a modification or a mod to the game where it changes the difficulty, and because it's like there's so many different video games out there that has that question being asked, but people come out with that mod, and then we got to, I guess, get on them, boo them, like make them feel bad about themselves, and all they trying to do is just help people be able to play the game. That's why I'm like, man, you know what? Shout out to those modders that do that. They come out with mods to help people play difficult games like that. But to the fans that be trying to defend that, a video game being difficult and all that stuff, you're going to be the reason why a video game fails. I'm willing to bet my life savings on that, because I don't know anybody in this world that plays a video game where they can't enjoy themselves and then they just accept the fact of themselves not enjoying themselves. That's why companies like GameStop stayed in business for so long, and then there's going to most likely whatever is after GameStop's, whether it's online or these retro game stores. But yeah, that's why these games be overall or these stores be staying in business, because of games like that. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.